Hello viewers, let's take a look at a question in management accounting, which is limiting factor analysis for decision making. So this is an examination standard question. It is from the past question. So question 1 states that what are the assumptions of limiting factor analysis? This is 4 marks. Then question 2, SMS Limited produces 4 products A, B, C, D. The operating budget for the month of January 2001 is stated below. So we have the information for all the 4 products. So we have the direct materials, direct labor, variable cost, or variable overhead cost. So these are the total. So these are the total for these 3 items here. So we have the sales unit, the sales in units, which are this information. Then unit sales price, that is selling price per unit. These are the selling price per unit, and the total machine are required are this information. So in the additional information, it states that the operation of the company is purely machine driven and can only be expanded to provide additional 400 hours. The company envisages increase in demand of its product to the tune of 50% in the forthcoming month due to festivities, but has problem of increasing its machine capacity beyond the new capacity. In order to cope with the demand upsurge, it has made arrangements with its foreign suppliers to take care of the production shortfall at the following suppliers' prices: A at 520, B at 700, C at 300, and D at 300. You are required to advise the company on the maximum profit it can make. 1. If the suppliers fail to honor the agreement, 8 marks. 2. If the suppliers are certain to honor the agreement, that's another 8 marks. Now let's take a look at the theoretical aspect of it, which is what are the assumptions of limiting factor analysis. 1. Fixed cost will remain unchanged irrespective of the decision that is taken. 2. Variable cost per unit is constant irrespective of the quantity of output or sales. 3. Sales demand for each product and the resources required to make them unknown are constant. 4. The units of output are divisible and therefore the profit-making solution might include fraction of units at the optimum output level. So let's take a look at the calculation aspect of it. So step 1 is to calculate. So calculation of contribution per limiting factor and ranking of the product. Like I said, this question is based on the past question. So I'll be making use of this question, which is also the same thing as what I've written. So I don't have to be flipping so much. So step 1 is to calculate the contribution per limiting factor and ranking of the product. So I have my sales, which is the sales per unit sales price, the sales per unit, which is 650, 800, 250, and 350, which are all this information. So for you to ascertain your contribution, it has to be sales minus your variable cost. So how do we ascertain a variable cost? Our variable cost shall be the addition of that direct material, direct labor, and the variable cost, which is 2,100. So my 2,100 divided by 4,000 will give me my variable cost. Now let me make use of this ready. So addition of the direct material, direct labor, and variable cost will give me 2,100. So 2,100 divided by the sales unit, which is 4,000. That should give me 0.525. Remember, our questions are in thousands, so that'll be times 1,000. So that'll be 525. That'll be 525. Then to get for product B, you apply the same formula. So that'll be 680, 240, and 340. Let me go back to it again. To arrive at the variable cost, is going to be the addition of my variable elements, which are direct material, direct labor, and variable overhead cost. So I've done for product A. Let's do the product B together. So addition of this will give me this. So to get a variable cost for product B is going to be 3,400 divided by the sales unit, which is 5,000. That'll be 0.68. So because my questions are in thousands, so I'm going to multiply it by 1,000. That'll be 680. So that's how the 680 was arrived at. So you do the same for product C and D. So the next, so you have to less it. And when you subtract this from this, that should give me 125, 120, 10, and 10. So sales per unit minus variable cost per unit. That should give me my contribution per unit. Per unit. So the next step is your machine hour per unit. Machine hour per unit. To get a machine hour per unit is going to be your total machine hour, the total machine hour required divided by your sales unit. That'll be 500 divided by 4,000. That'll be 0.125. So machine hour per unit, that'll be 0.125. The other one is 0.1, 0.00, 0.04, and 0.208. I recap. For us to derive out the machine hour per unit, that will be total machine hour required divided by the sales unit. Let's do for product B. For product B, that will be 500 divided by sales is 5,000. That's 1 over 10. Convert it to decimal. That is 0.1. So that's how the 0.1 was arrived at here. So the next will be contribution per limiting factor. Contribution per limiting factor, LF for short. So my contribution per limiting factor shall be, my contribution divided by the machine hour, because the machine hour here is a limiting factor here. So 125 divided by 0.125, that will be 1,000. You see, 125 divided by 0.125 give us 1,000. So that's how we arrive at this 1,000. So 120 divided by 0.1, that should be 1,200. This should be 2,500. And the next should be 125. Remember, 10 divided by 0.08. 10 divided by 0.08. That should give us 225. So the next one is your ranking. So we rank based on, so should in case you're going through the workings and you're confused, so I'd already written out the workings. So for you to get your variable cost per unit, that will be direct material plus direct labor plus direct plus your variable cost divided by your sales unit times 1,000 over 1 times 1,000, because the questions are in thousands. They're in thousands. To get a contribution per unit, that will be sales minus variable cost per unit. That is sales per unit. Sales per unit minus variable cost per unit. So to get a machine hour per unit, that will be total machine hour required divided by sales unit. To get a contribution per limiting factor, that will be contribution per unit divided by machine hour per unit. So it's now time for us to rank. Remember, this is the calculation of contribution for per limiting factor and ranking of the products. So after going through this process, the next is to rank, and you rank based on the highest value. So the highest value here is 1,000, so that will be my first, followed by 1,000. That will be my second, followed by 250. That should be my third, and this is the fourth.